Could we turn up the lights so we can talk to the audience before we get started? Could we turn up the lights so we can talk to the people? Turn up the lights so we can talk to the group. Thank you. Ooh! Screens. What? Somebody sitting with somebody they shouldn't be?
The key to the Burnett Show was the questions and answers. She did Q&A, and you got to know who Carol Burnett was.
She would walk out and talk to the audience, and I remember thinking, as a little bitty girl, I'm thinking, she's just talking to the audience.
Is there any way I could get an autograph from you, like a great person?
Pardon me, sweetie?
You want an autograph? Yeah, from a great person like you.
Oh, that's the way to get it.
Whoever's decision it was to put the opening of the show where Carol talked to the audience and interacted with the audience was a genius.
How did you get the idea of having questions and answers on your show?
How do we get the idea of doing this on the show? Well, actually, I stole the idea from Gary Moore. When I worked for him, he used to come out before the show would start and talk to the audience, and they didn't tape it or anything. And I always thought that was such a marvelous idea, you know, for him to get to know the audience and vice versa. We never have a plant in the audience. I hope people really believe that. I really don't know what you're going to ask. You ought to hear some of the things we get that we cut out.
Is your husband producing the show, and can we meet him?
Is my husband producing the show, and can you meet him? Yes, he is producing the show, but you can't meet him because he's producing the show.
What was the most embarrassing film prop failure that you've had?
What was the most embarrassing what?
Film prop failure, stage failure.
Stage failure? I did cut one.
I've got something to give you for your husband.
Oh?
It's a Thai bar, the Queen Mary from Long Beach, California.
The Queen Mary. Oh, bring it up. Oh, my goodness. Do you work at the Queen Mary?
No.
No?
Teacher in Long Beach.
You're a teacher in Long Beach?
Yes.
And you got this for my husband from the Queen Mary?
Yes.
Isn't that where they do female impersonations? I think there is a... Is it? Oh, you mean this is the real Queen Mary?
Yes.
Jo Hamilton just taped her first warm-up for the audience, and she had a little duster robe, which was on that one show, over a costume. It was kind of funny because she was so good with the audience, and they just taped it, and then they showed it to her and say, see, you need to talk to the audience. And so she did it, and then they said, and you do a dress, a gown every week.
Oh, we have a marvelous designer. His name is Bob Maggins, the gas. Well, I'll show you. Wait a minute.
It was kind of a blessing because some weeks she was like from one weird, crazy character to another, to another, to another. And if she didn't have that one dress in the beginning, you know, you never would get to know the real Carol.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason why you pull your ear?
Yes.
In the program?
It itches.
Watch.
No, I pull my ear at the end of the show. Originally, it was a signal to my grandmother who raised me, and she lived out here. I got my first job in New York, and she wanted me to say hello to her. So I did that, and now it's for the kids. This earlobe is, it was measured by Man Once from Life magazine, and it's about a 1/16 of an inch longer than the right one. Well, nobody's perfect.
As far as the opening goes, Bob Banner, who was one of our executive producers, who said, well, we'll put some plants in the audience, planted questions. But I didn't want that. I wanted it to be honest. And so I said, okay, I'll go out and I'll try it a couple of times, but if I'm not comfortable with it, let's bury it.
Yes, ma'am. Do I like to cook? I love to cook, but nobody likes to eat it.
After the show aired 2 or 3 times, the people who would come into the audience had seen the show. They were ready to ask questions. And so then I started to enjoy it.
Carol, do you ever stand in for a Lyle Wagner for the kissing scene?
You mean you want to replace Lyle Wagner as a stand-in for a kissing scene? You mean you want to kiss Lyle Wagner? Oh, you want to kiss me? You're a dirty old man.
Sometimes his questions and answers, you know, they're only like 2 minutes long, and other times they're 10 minutes. And that was always our cushion.
We got a lot of show for you tonight, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
If we had a really, you know, smelly sketch that didn't work out, It got really long, especially if it was good or somebody good was in the audience.
Yes. What kind of soap do they use to clean the floor?
I think that's a little personal. George, what kind of soap do they use to clean this floor, you mean? What do you use?
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste? No, what do you use?
They have vinyl cleaner.
Vinyl cleaner? Do you want to tell the lady what it is? Do you have a vinyl floor at home you want to clean? Is that it? Yeah. Where is it? In the bathroom or the kitchen? All over. You have vinyl all over your house. Just.
The show was funny and the sketches were really funny, but that opening made you feel like you were watching something live, which you weren't. It made you feel like you were really a part of it, and it made you see what a lovely, likable person Carol was, and to see her cracking up at things that people in the audience were saying.
Mouth insured? Is my mouth insured? There's not enough money.
Just was so welcoming and fun, and it seemed like you were all in for this TV event together.
Harvey and Tim and Vicki and Lyle, they were very comfortable with coming out and kidding around with the audience, too.
Can Lyle come out or is he changing? Oh, I'm here. Oh, come on, dear. Somebody has a question for you. Hi. A young girl right here has a question.
We just wanted to see you come out. We just
want to see you come out. How do you answer that one?
That's a tough question. You want to kiss Lyle or something?
Wait a minute.
Look at how red she's getting.
Look how red I'm getting.
Go on, go give her a kiss. Come on. Go on. Yes, sir.
I've seen a lot of your shows.
I should say he's one of our ushers.
I've
Why are you sitting out there?
I've seen Lyle come out so many times and give young ladies in the audience kisses. I thought that Vicki might come out and give me a kiss.
Oh, me too.
Me three.
Vicki's dressed kind of funny, but if she wouldn't mind... Vicki's put on a little weight. But it's the boys down there, Vicki. Go plant one on them. They don't know where to grab. Oh, Vicki, you really... I would like to bring out Tim Conway to say hello and answer a few questions that you might have. Anybody have any questions they want to shoot at Tim? Anything? Don't be chicken.
Good night. Thank you.
Any children?
Do I have any children? Yes, I do. I've been married 3 very happy years. 3 out of 6, yeah, you know.
She was so comfortable and so connected to the people and funny. And
That was obviously improvised. I was always struck by how beautifully she did that.
Yes.
How does one go about getting the autograph of a gorgeous, lovely star like yourself?
Actors didn't do that then. That was a first for people. That's what made her show so successful. That's what made her so successful.
Any other gifts?
He's got one!
She was a great actor and great comedian, but she was also a great person, and she was open with everybody, telling jokes or just asking them who they were and what they did.
I'd like to know if I may kiss the beautiful Carol Burnett.
You want to kiss the beautiful Carol Burnett?
She's not here.
What's your name, sir?
Tom Capellas.
Hey, Tom, I always like to know who I'm kissing.
And it was wonderful to see that.
She'll get a question, and she'll either say something warm or something humorous
Come here.
or something very uplifting.
You're leaving?
Yep.
Where are you going?
I had to find a real job. No offense.
Will you come back and see us?
Mm-hmm. I promise.
Tell the audience how long you've been with us.
3 years.
Are you happy to leave?
No,
Watch it,
but
Larry.
I had to find a full-time job. And you're leaving.
What are you gonna
for the
do?
summer. I'm gonna be a management trainee.
Larry.
Thank you.
But what I liked about it is when you do it like that, the show was different every night. It was completely spontaneous and honest.
And the most embarrassing question you were ever asked?
The most embarrassing question I was ever asked was whether or not I'd had a sex change. I think that takes the cake, yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
Did you?
Did I?
You know, when you see her out there doing the Q&A, she has a gentle but real authority.
I don't know if you'd sign my autograph book with
Come on up. Sure. I'm not supposed to allow that, but come on. Nobody's looking. Come on. What's your name?
Pam Hurley.
Pam, hi. Okay. To Pam. To Pam. Remember the girl from the city. Remember the girl from the town. Remember the girl who spoiled your book by writing upside down. Good luck. Hope to see you in high school. Thank you very much.
She has every right to be there, and you know it when you watch her
Yes.
answering those questions. She enjoys the audience, but she can kid them. She can take them through stories that have a real sense of confidence about them.
I was the spot girl. That's the girl who stands in the amber spotlight in the middle of the lobby and says, aisle 2, straight ahead of the stairway to your right, you know? And then he'd go spot, shoot aisle 2, shoot aisle 3, or shoot the balcony, you know, to get the people to go to that place. And one time he was wanted on the phone, and so the head usher did this to me, and I didn't know what that meant because he was like this, and I said, what? He said, that means get Mr. So-and-so on the phone. He's wanted on the phone. So I had to go tell him. He was way in the back counting money, and I was scared to death of this man, and I sneaked back there one night. We were showing a rerun of the Maltese Falcon, and I sneaked back one night, and he was counting money, and I knocked on the door, and he said, yes! He was sweet. And I stuck my head in and I said, mister, you're wanted on the telephone. And he jumped up and the chair fell over and he said, Burnett. And he grabbed me by my my scarf, you know. I said, yes. He said, whenever I'm wanted on the phone, don't you tell me I'm wanted on the phone. And I said, what do I do? What do I do? He said, you knock on the door, stick your head in and go like that.
She was so relatable.
And you needed to have that touchstone for her so that when she went to play character, you even had a greater appreciation for her ability to transform herself.
How old are you?
How old am I? You want to get with the lady who asked when I graduated? How old do you think I am? Be careful. Take a guess.
39.
39? What? 28? Right. That's right.
Now I realize how bulletproof that was because she's so charming and genuine and sweet and very American. It was a very American show.
This is, oh, come on, George. You can cough up with a 20. Come on, I'll give it back to you. George, okay, now here's 20 for the Girl Scouts, and here's the $4 for the cookies, and George is my sugar daddy.
She's very confident and kind of like, how y'all doing? You know what I mean? She's like, I'm from Oklahoma, she's from Texas. It just had this very welcoming feeling, you know.
What's your name?
Debbie.
Hi,
Nice.
Debbie. What part of Texas you from?
Duncanville.
Duncanville?
It's right south of Dallas.
South of Dallas? I'm from San Antonio.
You're kidding.
No!
She was gracious to her guests and, of course, to her audience.
Martha, come here and say hello. That's all right. Come here.
Because of her presence and because of the way she handles things. People in the audience don't get nervous because she makes everybody feel comfortable.
You got any questions you'd like to throw at Don?
All right, gang, let's hear those questions.
Y'all have any questions you might want to ask Andy? Anything at all? Take it away, Don.
If you were stranded on an island, who would you like to be with?
If I were stranded on an island, who would I like to be with? You mean aside from my own husband? So you're asking for some... Well, since Burt Reynolds said he wanted me, I might as well be with somebody who wants me.
I used to send her notes and told her that if I had to go to an island and I could only take one person, I would take Carol Burnett. And I kept saying that and saying that and saying that. So finally, she sent me in the mail a picture of her in a bathing suit. And it said, when?
I guess Burt and Peter Ustinov. What's so funny? He's terrific, Peter Ustinov. You know, gosh, he's got stories and he's funny and, you know, everything. And then a good cook.
And wasn't there a Q&A where a woman said, where's the bathroom? And she took her to the bathroom. She was like, oh, you know where the bathroom is? Oh, here, good.
There were times when people wanted to get up and sing or do something. I said, come on up. Either they'll be awful and it'll be wonderful, or they'll be wonderful and it'll be wonderful.
Are there any questions you might? Yes!
I wrote a small poem about you I'd like to read.
You wrote a poem about me that you would like to read? All right, why don't you stand up and read it? What's your name?
Danny Kruger.
Hi, Danny.
Hi. I'm in love with a wonderful girl, but there's a catch, oh brother. The girl I love, this glorious girl, is old enough to be my mother.
Sit down, Danny.
A couple times, my mother, she would get to come see the show, and she'd sit in the first row. And there were some questions and answers, and I still see her head. It was fun.
Is your mother here, Liz?
Yes.
Where is she? Where there?
Right
there.
there.
She is. Hi, stand up.
Everything was absolutely off the cuff.
I remember Buzz Aldrin was in the audience.
If I were a fella, I would be an astronaut. Mr. Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon. Where are you, Buzz? Please stand.
It wasn't just the Carol Burnett show. It was Carol Burnett and you, including the audience.
How come you're sugar and spice and everything nice? You're a doll.
Aren't you cute? That's very sweet.
Is your hair naturally red?
Is my hair naturally red? How'd you get in?
She does the greatest Tarzan yell. Go ahead.
What made you famous, your body or your mouth?
young one I want to go out with tonight.
I can't remember when the first time it was that I met Carol. I wonder if I met her when I was 8 years old. I don't really know. I lived, when my father moved out to California to be in the movies, they had him on a term contract and were paying him peanuts. So we could afford a little bungalow on Yucca Street. Yucca Street is a street that looks like what the name sounds like. And it's 1 block north of Hollywood Boulevard. About 3 blocks away from our bungalow, Carol lived, and we were both about the same age. I was a kid. I think we moved there when I was about 7. So I played with neighborhood kids, and one of them might have been Carol. But I don't remember laughing a lot, so maybe not. A sweet face. She's just lovely. She's such a lovely person. You know what's a clue to who she is? When she'd be part of hiring somebody to work on her show. I think both in front of the camera and behind the camera. At the top of her list about qualifications would be, would they be fun to be with? Would they be nice people? Would they be not disruptive of the whole process, but be warm and comfortable co-workers? And that's what she is. And she wanted to surround herself with people like that. I think it brings out the best in everybody if everybody's concentrating on the work, on cooperating with a certain amount of give, because everybody's a little idiosyncratic. But if you're basically willing to accept other people for what they are, then you get over the idiosyncrasies pretty well, and everybody works together as one unit. And I think Carol understood that because that's the kind of person she is. So she's wonderful to be with. Carol is a knockout because she's attractive in a way that is not just on the outside, but on the inside. When she looks at you, she makes contact with you. That knocks you out, because a lot of people are looking at you with themselves in mind. But Carol's really looking at you, which makes her such a wonderful performer. It makes her believable when she plays a scene. Even if it's a raucous sketch, you believe that she's talking to that other person because she's making real contact with the person. That really takes you very far. The other thing is when she's making contact with you when you're working it out, when you're even passing the time between scenes during a break. She's there. It's a very gentle presence she has. It's admirable. If you're going to be on a show week after week, especially a show like that you have to rehearse many hours a day, you have to get the dancing right, the singing, you got to remember the lines, and you do it as a live show in front of a live audience. That's hard work. You can't be distracted by people who are not pulling their weight or have a separate agenda. And she was able to surround herself with people who were all trying to make the best show together that they could. That makes a big difference, I think. It made it very enjoyable to be on the show. I loved that week I spent with her. I watched the show as much as I could, but I don't know if I watched it every week. I can barely remember being on it, never mind watching it. It's a long time ago. But I loved doing it. I watched the show. I didn't realize you could see parts of it on YouTube. I watched a couple of the numbers about a year ago, and I was amazed that we'd put that together in 1 week. I couldn't get over that. In a way, there was a feeling on the show that you could improvise if you got in trouble, which saved you from getting in trouble because you knew there was always somewhere to go. It didn't matter. You could be free. And that led to a lot of spontaneity, but it also led to a lot of precision because you were free. It's just funny. It's oddly enough, you get more precision from being free. What I loved about that sketch was there were very few jokes in it. It was the behavior of the characters and the the strength of the characterizations, the poignancy of the characterizations that made you laugh. You saw them talking to one another with the disdain they had for the other person. And you could just enjoy it as a theatrical moment without jokes. And that's unusual for sketch comedy, I think. It was an ongoing saga of these people who made up a family that didn't work. And it was fun to watch it not work. So mostly in the sketch, I sat and watched until finally I blew up at the end. The family didn't function very well, and that's what made it funny. They had such energy tearing each other apart. They had such little patience with one another. I think it's fun. Every family has a little tension. So it's fun to watch a family that holds nothing back in letting one another know that they're tense in their presence, that they don't like them that much. That's really, you get to kind of, you get it played out for you, and you don't have to go through it with a real family. You know what I remember about that sketch? There was one moment where I was trying to be very suave, and I took the paper napkin up to my lips to wipe my lips, and my finger went through it, and I wiped my lip with my finger. My daughter Elizabeth loved that so much that the two of us, I think to this day, decades later, once in a while we'll surprise the other one by putting our finger through the napkin. That's all I remember from that sketch. I barely remember the premise. I only spent a week with the whole company, but in that time, I got a real sense that they had what we had on MASH, which was a total acceptance of one another and an appreciation of one another, so that whatever came out of one of them was received by the other one gladly, and that person would send the ball back. There was a tremendous ability to play together, and that playfulness and the enjoyment of one another in that moment of play is very important for the audience's appreciation. They're not in a peg hole by themselves. They're part of a group, and that group experience has much more to do with the audience's enjoyment than it would be if everybody was in business for themselves, trying to score individually. And that's the impression I got working with them, and that's the impression I get watching them. They're delicious to watch, really superb sketch comedians. Once in a while, they would enjoy breaking each other up. When that happens, no matter how hard you try not to, the harder you try, the more you laugh. You can't stop it. That used to happen to us on MASH a lot, especially at the end of a day when you spent a day in a small area with no air and the lights are burning up all the oxygen. Anything can get you going, and the more the director tries to get you to calm down, the worse it gets. But on that show, there's the audience and the cameras are turning. You can't cut it out. You can't eliminate it from the show. So knowing that puts the pressure even more on the actor to stop laughing, and that makes it go on even further. As I understand it, Tim would save little bits that he will only do on the air to get Harvey to crack up. Tim Conway has the ability to crack you up just looking at you, or looking down at his coffee. I mean, he's